Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This. Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where we have 3 service centers to help you out with your computer problems. When your computer is not doing what you want it to do, when you're not sure if that app is safe for your phone or your tablet, or maybe you're having some difficulty getting that new Apple update to install so that your friends and family can't FaceTime you while you're on the toilet without your permission. That's a real thing. We're going to talk about it all today, guys. 866-496-8772. Those are the numbers to join us on the program today. Ask a question, make a comment. We'll get you in the drawing, actually, for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Good for anything your heart desires over at the service center. All you have to do is be a part of the program here. All right, so it's been a pretty even spread over the last week at Schrock. You know, we had the special on the solid-state upgrades. The appetite for those upgrades has not cooled. People are still coming in, even though they're not on special, and asking for those upgrades because they're hearing from their friends, they're hearing from family members that, hey, I got this done over at Schrock. And, you know, for the vast majority of people, I think there was about 3 people that really had a problem from the update. Something went sideways, something went wrong. There's one gentleman yesterday that I saw an email from who had a Windows 7 computer, and of course he's geographically distant. You know, of course it's somebody that's not local that had the problem, and it's like we can't drive out to their house and pick it up and fix it or anything. He's in South Dakota, so we're working on making it right for those people. But for the vast majority of people, we did over 1,000 of these, and only have 3 of them have some kind of an issue. Most of the people who had issues, it was the result of their hard drives being bad to begin with, and they didn't realize they were bad, or having operating systems that had corruptions or issues to begin with. And unfortunately, there's the way the world works and the way the world ought to work. And the way the world ought to work is people ought to have brought in perfectly functional computers, you see. And then we were going to upgrade them to solid-state hard drives. Yeah. Now, the way the world really works is sometimes we had computers come in that had problems, and we upgraded them to solid-state hard drives, which didn't get rid of the problems because the problems were not related to the hard drive or the speed of the hard drive. And now we own those problems because, that's the way the world works. But, at Schrock, we're going to take care of our people, and our customers are coming in and spending money with us to get a product that they're going to be happy with. The biggest concern for us is that you guys walk away happy with it. So we're doing wrapping those up there. Also, a big thing we're going to talk about today on the radio is backing up your hard drive. And I'm going to approach this from a couple different angles today. Obviously, our big February special was actually a customer requested special right here on the program. Our external modular storage devices, our external hard drives, are on special right now for half off. You can see these all on our website at SchrockInnovations.com. You can buy them online there too if you want. We have the 500 gigabyte flavor and the 1 terabyte flavor of rotating drives. Those are the most popular and also the least expensive, starting at only $50 for a backup hard drive. In our service centers in stock. The others, we build for you. We've had customers, the big question is, hey, I just put a solid state hard drive in my computer. Should I put a solid state hard drive in my backup? And that's a really interesting question because there's 2 schools of thought when you look at this. You're looking at a backup hard drive, right? Nobody cares about their backup hard drive. It's sad. If I had violin music, it'd be playing right now. It gets left in the cord nest behind the computer, in the dust, in the dark, with no friends, no one to hang out with. It never gets checked on. Nobody ever calls. There's no Meals on Wheels for your external backup hard drive. It just is supposed to do its job all the time. And if you started out with Windows 7 or you had an early version of Windows 10, it was doing its job for a very long time. Now it might not be anymore. It may just have fallen by the wayside. So that's something we're going to talk about here on the program today. But the vast majority of people know that you're supposed to back your stuff up. A lot of people say, hey, I don't have a whole lot on my computer. I don't know that I need to back it up. I only use it to pay bills and go online and things like that. I don't save photos. I don't save videos. If that's you, don't back up your computer. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But the vast majority of us have pictures of our children, videos of our children. We have, documents that we've created for work or for personal budgets for the house or things like that. We have Social Security records. We've got, statements that we've scanned into the computer, for example, tax returns, tax programs, genealogy programs. It goes on and on and on, the number of things that people use their computers for. And all of these programs save data that, let's be honest, if we didn't want the data, we wouldn't have created it in the first place, right? So we saved it for a reason. The vast majority of us know we're supposed to back up that data. Very few of us actually do. Very few of us, of the people who do back up their data, which is a small percentage of the computing population, the people who do back up their data rarely, if ever, check on the status of their backup, right? So how do you back up your data properly in Windows 10? Because it has changed from Windows 7. The software that we recommended you use as recently as a year and a half ago is now changed. And I'm going to tell you why that changed quickly. Last month, actually, we changed that official recommendation at Schrock and retrained all of our people. We were doing the solid state upgrade. We had a customer come in who had a bad hard drive, didn't know they had a bad hard drive, didn't have Drive Advisor installed. So when they came in, we basically tried to clone their drive, but it wouldn't clone because it was too bad. And it got to the point where we couldn't really access the data anymore. Like, it wasn't accessible. So now we're in the situation of, oh boy, they're going to, of course, it worked when I brought it in. Come on. It was bad when you brought it in. It had to have problems. The hard drive was at 17% health. You start seeing symptoms at about 50% health. So this thing was a rolling disaster before you brought it in. But that doesn't matter. So customer's right. So, okay. Do you happen to have a backup? Why, yes, I do. I back up my computer with the Windows 7 backup tool that also does an image backup of my hard drive, because I heard Thor recommend that on the radio, which is absolutely true. As of a year ago, that was my current record. As of 2018, which sounds like a year ago, but that was just 2 months ago. That was the official recommendation. Now we're having an issue because when we did a backup for customers with the Windows 7 backup utility that is also present in Windows 10, so it is possible that you're using Windows 10 and you're running the Windows 7 backup and restore software, okay? Especially if you have a Venture that has the safe and stored backup drive, especially if you have an older holiday special. You were using those backup methods. That's what we set up. Now, what we learned was customers came in for the solid state upgrade, and the customer whose hard drive was failing because their hard drive was bad had never installed version 1809 or even 1803. So they were 2 versions behind on their Windows 10. So, of course, when we installed a clean copy of Windows 10, we installed the current version, figuring it doesn't really matter because we're just going to restore their image backup anyway. Turns out, if you boot from or try to restore from a newer version of Windows 10 than your original backup, you cannot restore your image. You can still get the files out of it, but you can't restore the image. Now, saving that image on your external hard drive for a standard user can take 6 hours. So of your total backup time that you spend backing up on your computer and all the miles you spend putting on that external hard drive, wearing it out, the image is most of the backup. If the image isn't valuable anymore, if it doesn't work after 6 months, the image is no good. And it's not like it says, oh, look, we're on 1809. Let's create a new image. It doesn't do that. Instead, it just says, oh, we'll just keep on adding to the image we already have because it's a differential backup. So it doesn't work. So now, here we are where we have a bad hard drive and a backup that doesn't work. Now, we recommended the Windows 7 backup for years because it created an image. The idea was we could completely restore your data to your computer exactly as it was the day it failed. That was the hope. Well, unfortunately, that's not the case now. So it doesn't make much sense to use the Windows 7 backup and restore software if you are running Windows 10, which should be just about everybody by now. If you're still running Windows 7, you've got yourself about 9 months to get off of it. Or excuse me, no, I'm sorry, I misspoke. You got yourself about 11 months to get off of it, 10 and a half actually, to get off of Windows 7 before your computer will either need to be upgraded to Windows 10 or will be rendered obsolete by Microsoft's lack of security updates coming next January for Windows 7 users. So how do you back up your hard drive then? If you think you're backing up, you're probably not backing up successfully. If you are not backing up and you have stuff on your computer, let me put it this way. If I walked into your house and took your computer, literally just took it from your house, and said, "Oh, so sorry, didn't mean to steal your computer. Here's a brand new one," and give you a new one. Would you be happy about that or not? Well, you're getting a free upgrade, right? I did steal it from you. I mean, you probably don't feel good about that, but yeah, I made it right. I gave you a new computer. If there's information on your computer that you would lose, that is not backed up in a cloud, that is not backed up, in the iCloud or via Carbonite or on an external hard drive, you would lose that information. And if that would make you feel sad or bad, gnashing of teeth, tears, all that jazz, if your hard drive died today, would you bring it into our shop for a data recovery starting at $400 and goes up from there? Most of them don't end up at 400. We try, but we do our best. Then it's even better. We won't even talk about the people who save stuff on external hard drives instead of inside their computer because they don't want to fill their computer up. Those are our data recovery children. Those are the people who end up spending $1,300, $1,800 to get their data back because they don't save it inside the computer. They save it on an external hard drive, which you can do, but you got to save it on a second external hard drive. You have to have a backup just because it's on a backup drive doesn't mean it's backed up somewhere. You have to have 2 copies of it. So here's the deal. It's actually really, really easy to back up your data on Windows 10, to back up all of your files. It's called the file history backup. It's the backup that everybody should be using now. So if you're a Schrock customer, you have one of our holiday specials, or you have a Venture that has the safe and stored backup drive in it, or maybe when you bought your computer, you had us put a backup hard drive in it. Maybe you're running an external hard drive like a Seagate or a Western Digital MyBook or one of our modular storage devices. I just want you to take a moment, some point today, it's a good day to do it, double check your backup, okay? To double check your backup, you click on Start in the lower left-hand corner, and then you click on the gear. This is for Windows 10 users. You click on the Settings gear. It's just a couple ticks up from that Start menu. So Start and then Settings gear. And this is going to open up the settings window. If you have one of our solid state hard drives, the settings window will open up that quickly. If you don't, I'm stalling for you right now so you can open your settings window. It should be just about open by now. There you go. Okay, so now it's open. Now once you're in here, the very bottom option is Update and Security. Left click on Update and Security. This is going to open up the Update and Security menu. On the left-hand side, there's a menu that goes down the page, and backup is about third one down, I believe, maybe closer to midway down. But you click on backup, and all there is, and you have to have your external hard drive, or if you have an internal hard drive, there has to be a destination available for the backup. There's a little thing you can just click to turn on File History Backup, and it'll say looking for a drive, and it'll ask you what drive do you want to save it on. It's going to be like the E drive probably. So you're going to click on that, and then you're going to say it's just going to go. And it's going to automatically back up your files. Now, this backup is nice. The reasons I like this backup is because, number one, with the old Windows 7 backup, remember how I said you had to leave your computer on Sunday nights at 9 p.m., otherwise you were going to miss your backup window. And if you missed your backup window, it's not like it made it up. It didn't wake up on Monday morning and say, oh wow, I didn't do the backup on Sunday night. I better do that now. It didn't do that. So if you turned your computer off all the time, which some people do, or let it go to sleep, which some people do, or if you have a laptop where you close the lid when you're done, which some people do, you weren't getting a backup at all. So now the file history backup is a real-time backup. It backs up. You can back up as quickly as every 10 minutes onto your external hard drive. And if you have one of our modular enclosures, that's 45% faster than the average backup, the average external hard drive. Oh my gosh, the backup is instantaneous. You don't even notice it's happening. And because it happens continuously, as you change files, it's a more recent backup. Whereas with the Windows 7 backup, if something went wrong, you lose a week of work. If something goes wrong running the Windows 10 file history backup, you lose maybe 10 minutes of work. That's it. It's pretty nifty. Not only that, but it also gives you revisions of the files. So have you ever done this where you're working on a file and you're copying and pasting and getting a rhythm, and all of a sudden you cut something you didn't mean to cut, and you save the file, so now the cut's permanent, and then a couple days later or something, or an hour later, you realize, oh, biscuits, I didn't mean to do that. I just lost oh my gosh, I just lost a ton of work. Well, the file history backup, that's the history part of it. You can actually go back in time on a file and open up different iterations of that file. From today, from last week, from the week before. For Mac users, this is just like Time Machine. It's the same thing that Mac users have had for a long time. So it works really, really well to restore your backups. It does not work on programs. That's the caveat. So if you're going to look for a negative here, it doesn't back up your programs. However, almost all new programs now are installed from an account online. So if you have to start over, you just download your software again. You don't have to have codes or any garbage like that. You just have to have a password to get in, and then you can download all your Microsoft software, your Adobe software, all that stuff. You can just get it again. Your secure updater, your drive advisor, all that stuff can just be automatically re-downloaded. So it's kind of neat. So with everything said and done, that's how you back up your hard drive. Now, I am willing to take your calls, 866-496-8772, because I'm sure you have questions about your backup. Give us a call, ask a question, make a comment. We'll get you in the drawing. Now, let me do the simple math for you here. If you don't have a backup drive, the cheapest one that Schrock sells is normally $100 for the 500 gig rotating backup. And that's for our ultra-fast modular storage enclosures, okay? Half off right now for the month of February, so it's only $50. If you call in and win the $25 gift certificate, you can use that toward the backup drive, making the backup drive $25, okay? $25. So we're doing our best to make it affordable for you, okay? I'm going to talk in the next segment a little bit about our data recovery lab and some of the cool new tools that we have in that lab to help people out who don't back up their stuff, and some of the situations that we see and the sad things that happen. Weddings lost, baby pictures, baby videos, birth videos lost, forever, gone. And I got an email from a customer just this weekend who literally sent his drive. It was kind of funny because he sent it to like a hole-in-the-wall data recovery company in Florida and said, can you guys recover it even if a company like them can't do it? And I was like, it looked like a pawn shop. I went to their website, and their website looked like they were working in a pawn shop. And I thought to myself, my gosh, why are you sending? Well, maybe, bring it in. Let's take a look at it. And he had some pictures he shared with me. We're going to talk about the different kinds of data failure, why data failure happens. And I know this sounds super exciting. The stories behind the failures are what are interesting. The stories of loss, the stories of redemption, that's what makes this interesting. And it underscores the bottom line. You just need to back your stuff up. Now, we can get into discussions about should you have a rotating backup or should we put a solid state in that external backup drive? Perfectly legitimate questions, okay? We can get into all that stuff here on the program, but the bottom line is I don't care how you do it. It's like a Reese's. There's no wrong way to eat it. There's no wrong way to do a backup. All you have to do, you can get a fistful of flash drives if you want to. You can get an external hard drive if you want to. Go Carbonite. Hey, they just bought WebRoot. We're going to talk about that on the program today. So guess what? Now you can back your stuff up and secure it with the least secure software we've ever seen in our lives. So maybe Carbonite's going to improve that a little bit. Bottom line, guys, make sure your stuff is secured and backed up, because you don't want to be in a position where you're in that data recovery lab and you're wondering why in the world does it cost $400,000, $600,000, $800,000 to get your data back. And I'm going to tell you why it costs that here in a minute on the program. We're going to tell you what goes into data recovery. People think sometimes we just have a magic data recovery machine that we put the drives on and and then we just charge you a ridiculous amount of money. If only it were that easy. 866-496-8772. Got to take our first break of the program. Dale and Ed, your calls coming up next on Compute This.
Today's fragile computers need maintenance more than ever. Your computer needs a maintenance checkup every 6 months to last beyond its 18-month expected lifespan. External hard drives are handy. You can back up multiple computers to them or even use them to move lots of data from one computer to another. Computer users have been buying the same old external hard drives for years. While our computers have been getting faster, we still do backups that take hours or watch epic progress bars creep by to move files. Schrock wanted more for our customers, so our innovators created the fastest external hard drives on the planet. Schrock modular storage devices are up to 50% faster than Seagate or Western Digital externals and are modular in the truest sense of the word. We can create whatever size and speed of drive you need for all of your needs. And all modular storage devices come with a data restoration guarantee. If you use our drives for backing up and your computer's hard drive fails, we'll restore your backup to your repaired computer for free. Fast, simple, and flexible technology solutions from Schrock Innovations. It's what we do. And now Compute This Pro tip number 373. Everyone knows we're supposed to back up our computers and then check those backups periodically to make sure they're working. So why don't most people do it? Lots of people have different ideas about what backing up means. Is it copying files to a flash drive? Is it using a fancy backup program? And how do you know it's working anyway? Windows makes backups easy through free software that's already on your computer. Open your control panels and click Update and Security. Select Backup and choose from all of the available options to get a regular, reliable checkup. You'll need something to back up to, like a Schrock modular storage device or some other backup hard drive. Backups usually run once a week, but you can always change the frequency. The best part is that if your backup ever fails, you'll see a notification in the lower right corner by your clock telling you something's up. Backing up your important data has never been easier. So take a moment to back up your computer today. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
All right, welcome back into Compute This, guys. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, and I failed to mention in the first segment that you can watch the show live at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. That's facebook.com/Schrock Innovations if you want to see what it looks like when we do the show. I wave my hands around a lot. That's pretty much it. Also, people ask questions in the sidebar there. It's kind of like a show within a show, and then after the program, we do a little extra segment called the After Schrock. And during the After Schrock, it's not terrestrial radio, right? So all the FCC holds are removed. Don't worry, it's still family friendly. We don't go off the rails too terribly far. But we talk about things that aren't necessarily germane to the actual program or the topic at hand for the day. So it's kind of interesting. We get off on sidetracks sometimes. 866-496-8772. We usually create a second broadcast on Facebook. So if you're watching on Facebook right now, we will end this broadcast at the end of the show, and then we'll start up a second broadcast called the After Schrock. Watch for that to go live shortly. Give me a minute or so. You know, some people are like, where is it? I'm like, you got to give me. And it's funny because if you go to Google, people Google After Schrock now. Like it's actually ranking as a search term now because people are watching it. So it's kind of funny. All right, 866-496-8772. Dale, welcome to the program. I understand you are monkeying with your task scheduler. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I'm kind of at war with it. Some of the items I can go in and disable, and they'll stay disabled. And other items, it decides I don't know what I'm doing, and it puts them back the way they were. I noticed there's some other options. One is delete. And there's also an export option, and I tried that, and I can export an item to a file. So my question is, if I delete something, is it gone permanently? And if I export it to a file and decided later I didn't know what I was doing and I should put it back, can I import that back into the task scheduler?
The answer is yes and yes. Now, there is an easier way to do this, though. Now, you're right. Some tasks in the task scheduler, if you disable them, they will become re-enabled. So, for example, I'm looking at my task scheduler right now. And let me see. Every day, Google checks for an update. Every day, Dropbox checks for an update because there's like 3 a day from Dropbox. Adobe Flash Player Updater checks every day. Office Feature Updater. Oh, look, another Dropbox update. Second one, a CCleaner update, an Adobe Acrobat update, schedule a scan. There's my semantic endpoint. As I'm going down the device, there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of different tasks that are scheduled to run. So if you delete one of the tasks, it will remove it from the list until something re-adds it. My computer has 105 scheduled tasks right now, and I didn't manually schedule any of them. So I would assume that most people's computers have about 105 scheduled tasks, 100
kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. So, but everybody thinks their task is important, and in some instances they are. But now, for example, let's say you have Secure Updater. All these ones that I told you about Adobe, it might be kind of silly that I've got all these scheduled Adobe tasks because I have Secure Updater, and it's updating my Adobe for me. So do I really need all these scheduled tasks? And the answer is no, I don't. But the problem is when you delete them, the next time there's an update for Adobe Reader, for example, or Adobe Flash Player or any of the Adobe products, Secure Updater is going to install it for you. And as part of that installation, it sets up a new scheduled task if the existing task is missing. So basically, you can delete them you can export them, you can delete them to your blue in the face. As soon as you get the new updated version, it's going to reschedule the task again because it's all automatic. And they want to make sure that you're getting the most. And I get it. And those things I understand. It's like I'm looking through here and I'm trying to see anything that I would say is something that I don't want to have.
There's a lot of customer experience stuff.
Yeah, see, I got
really
something here called registration, which is kind of funny because this is a Schrock holiday special, and who's asking me to register what here? Because it's not like an HP where there's 5,000 like printer ink and buy your ink and register your products and all that stuff. So no, I hear what you're saying. Like here's some BitLocker stuff for my encryption. I'm just going down the list. I'm only in the D's. Here's Drive Advisor. For example, Drive Advisor adds an event called Log On of Any User. So at the log on of any user, it schedules a task to launch Drive Advisor, which is important. You want Drive Advisor to be running when you're on the computer. Doesn't matter who's on the computer. We want to know if the hard drive is going bad. So to answer your question, yes, you can export them. Yes, you can delete them. You can re-import them again if you want to. But the only ones that are not going to come back automatically are the ones you manually created, because all the others were created automatically by some other piece of software, and eventually it'll get an update, and eventually they will come back. Thanks for the call, Dale. We got you in the drawing for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate there as well. 866-496-8772. On the Facebook feed, lovely Kimberly joined the feed here, and she mentioned that flash drives are not good for long-term storage backups. And that's something because I was kind of tongue-in-cheek saying, I don't care if you have a fistful of flash drives, whatever you got to do. And she's right, though. Long-term storage on flash drives is not a good idea. Flash drives are not durable storage devices. They look and feel. I got one on my keychain. We put the radio show on it every week as a backup so that I can make sure that Mark over in Omaha has some podcast he can upload. By the way, the iTunes podcast is fixed. There was an issue with that. We had a caller to the program let us know that our iTunes wasn't updating, and it is now. So if you're in iTunes, you can subscribe to the podcast for Compute This and just search for Schrock Innovations and you'll find it. But the flash drives are great for backing up things for backups, right? So a backup is a non-important thing. If your backup hard drive dies, it should not be the end of the world, right? If your backup hard drive dies, you shouldn't care, aside from the fact that you have to go get a new one, because it's a backup. It's a second copy. If one of your flash drives poops out on you, you shouldn't care because you should have a second copy, okay? Now, here's the thing. For those of you who have Drive Advisor, we've noticed lately that when people don't get the emails from Drive Advisor, Google swipes them off into promotional items, Hotmail sends them to junk, AOL says they might be spam. So unless you're paying really close attention and going through your junk, you may not see a Drive Advisor alert. So take a moment this morning to go down in the lower right-hand corner by your clock and look for that D for Drive Advisor. If it's not there, just restart your computer. As I mentioned, it's got a task that'll cause it to pop right up again if it's not running right now. But if you have Drive Advisor installed, or if you've been in the service center in the last year, we should have installed Drive Advisor for you. So go ahead, restart the computer if you need to, but check your Drive Advisor status, because we see a lot of backup hard drives that are failed and customers don't even know it. All right, hang on the line there, Ed. We got to take our bottom of the hour break. More of the show coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations can't teleport technicians to you, but online help is only a click away with the Schrock Desk. Subscribe today and get unlimited help whenever you need it. Schrock Innovations has spent nearly 2 decades working to make your technology life easier, and the all-new SchrockInnovations.com is no exception. Now you can order new modular computers and solid-state laptops directly from our website, secure your computer with our virus-free guaranteed semantic endpoint software, find innovative new technologies like our modular storage devices, and get free help and tips. Take a look at the special section to find sales on one-of-a-kind items, display models, refurbished units, and our latest special offers. Swing by the Compute This page to watch TV segments and archived radio shows, or even get one-on-one help through the Schrock Desk. As always, we respect your privacy, so we secure our website with the latest encryption technology and only the most secure payment methods. You can pick up your purchases at any of our 3 service centers or have them shipped directly to your door. The new SchrockInnovations.com makes technology simple. It's what we do. Compute This Pro Tip 299. There are enough mothballed computers in U.S. homes to give one to every man, woman, and child in the country. Many of these computers find their way into landfills where they can leak cadmium, lithium, and other nasty chemicals into the groundwater. Schrock Innovations is very proud of the fact that we recycle more e-waste every year than we create. You can drop off any old or broken computer equipment to our service centers at any time, free of cost. We only charge $15 just for monitors because they are especially difficult to process. No appointment is required, and we accept all computer-related equipment like printers, keyboards, speakers, and accessories. Additionally, the rare earth elements in computers can be recycled right here in the U.S. to reduce our reliance on supplies from foreign countries. Take a moment, drop off your old computer equipment today, and Schrock will make sure it's properly recycled and put to good use right here in the U.S. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. A busy weekend for Democrats who want to take on President Trump in 2020. Yesterday, Senator Elizabeth Warren jumped into the fray. Today, it's...
For days, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar has teased a big announcement in Minneapolis today, an announcement widely expected to be her entrance into the presidential race. Klobuchar would be the fifth senator to enter the Democratic race, though the first from a Midwestern state. She'd also be the third senator on the Judiciary Committee to announce a presidential bid.
Fox's Jared Halpern. It's a sure sign that spring can't be far off. The Nascar Cup Series begins today.
42 cars will look to fill out the field for next Sunday's Daytona 500 today in qualifying. The Great American Race gets underway at 12:10 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Advanced Auto Parts Clash and exhibition race at Daytona ahead of next Sunday's season opener.
Fox's Matt Napolitano. This is Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Light snow will continue around the metro through 9 a.m. Additional accumulation limited to less than an inch. We could see some freezing drizzle through noon. Otherwise, cloudy skies with a high around 31. More clouds overnight with a low around 23. On Monday, wintry weather returns in the form of freezing drizzle and a wintry mix by the afternoon. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist David Keller on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. We've got 3 service centers. They're all open Saturday from 10 to 8, Sunday from noon to 5. We're also open the rest of the days of the week as well. People are sometimes surprised that we stay open until 8 o'clock at night. We're open from 10 in the morning, and then they always joke, oh, banker's hours, eh? And then you say, well, we're here till 8 o'clock at night. And they're like, oh, not so banky now. That's right. But no, we're there. If this time of year right now, you know, we've made it through the January rush. Everybody who got tech for Christmas has screwed up their computers and gotten them all straightened out. Everybody who didn't get tech for Christmas right now is starting to look at new computers. As you guys get your tax returns, your tax refunds, things like that, they're a little behind on processing this year because of the shutdown. But this in February, we tend to see an uptick in the number of computers we're selling. January is pretty quiet because, you know, we just come out of the holiday special. You know, people who bought computers got them. They were, you know, businesses were packing them on the end of the fiscal year. January, that slows down a little bit. And then in February, we start to see it picking back up into the spring as people, you know, start to realize some of the limitations of their technology. You know, Windows 7 is going to die next January. And there was a big debate. Well, I shouldn't say a big debate. There were 4 comments back and forth. And for our Facebook page, that was a big debate on, you know, if your Windows 7 can't get an update, is it dead? It'll still turn on and work. In fact, there was an article I was reading this morning. I don't know why people are doing it, but I have a weird desire to do this. I don't know why, but, you know, Windows 95, like when I came of age, Windows 3.1 was the operating system. And Windows 95 was this big new thing. It had plug-and-play technology. Just plug in a device and it works. We still don't have plug-and-play. But I digress. And now there's a guy who sat down and he literally made an app, and you can run it on a Mac. You can run it on Linux, and you can run it on PC. It's a Java-based app, so it runs anywhere. But it's Windows 95. So it's like you can double-click on Windows 95, and it'll open up a Windows 95. New improvements in the new version. It actually has the Windows 95 sounds. Like you can get that sound that you've forgotten all these years, and you'll hear it, and it's like, it sounds like home. Oh boy! Remember Mick Jagger was started up when they introduced the start button? Like that was a big deal. So yeah, they got the sounds all put in there now, and they still can't get Internet Explorer to run in it, probably because Microsoft doesn't want them to, and you wouldn't want to run Internet Explorer anyway because it doesn't work with anything. But in a throwback to the browser wars of the early '90s, they did include Netscape 2.0. So you can have your Netscape Navigator back, the ship's wheel. Remember that icon? Oh boy. So yeah, if you want a throwback, but then now they were saying that the installer for this is bloated a little bit. It's not the slim and trim 120 megabyte install, just Windows 95. Now let me 120 megabytes for Windows 95 versus 6 gigabytes for Windows 10. Okay. Huge difference. But this one is actually bloated to a whopping 230 megabytes because they included some classic titles like Doom, the original Doom for Windows 95, Wolfenstein 3D. Oh yeah, that game was awesome for Windows 95. Hours of wasted time on that game. So pretty cool stuff there. 866-496-8772. Heads up to you Apple users out there. Make sure you are downloading and installing iOS 12.2. It is out as of 5 days ago. You should have gotten an alert about it by now. If you haven't installed it, you definitely need to do so. It stops the FaceTime eavesdropping bug. Of course, you can, if your device will not install iOS 12.2, because it doesn't have enough storage space or it's too old or whatever, you can disable FaceTime and achieve the same result. Of course, then you just can't use FaceTime anymore. But you do install the 12.2 update. You get some new emojis too. That's like they kind of sweeten the deal a little bit. Yeah, there's a major patch here, and there's a couple critical vulnerabilities in the wild that we're just not going to talk about, but Google is more than willing to tell you about them. And we'll sprinkle some emojis on top. Here you go. Ding. So I would definitely install that update. 866-496-8772. Ed, thanks for holding on there. What can I do for you today on Compute This?
Yeah, Thor, my main question is, I want an image of my hard drive. I got programs that has to have a run code. So what I did was I reformatted my hard drive and backed it up so it should have the newest operating system on it. And then in April, when the new one comes out, I'm going to reformat my hard drive and then back it up again. So will that work? I don't care if I have to, every time they come out with a new operating system, I would reformat and back up again.
You could do that, but how are you installing the new operating system?
Well, the operating, I do it from you guys every time that new operating or upgrade or whatever you want to call it.
So you format your hard drive and then bring it into the shop?
No. I reformatted my hard drive.
Okay.
Which wipes out all the backup stuff and image on my computer.
Okay.
And then I backed it up.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. You're wiping your backup drive.
Yeah,
I was so confused. I thought you were wiping your wiping out Windows, and then installing the new copy of Windows. I'm like, I suppose you could do that, but I mean, do you have a Canon?
No.
I see a fly on the wall over there.
But no, I did. I got 1 terabyte solid state hard drive.
Yeah,
from
I mean,
you guys.
if you did the upgrade, wiped your backups, and then turned on the upgrade again to use the Windows 7 backup, it will create an image backup that'll work for you. So if you really want that image backup, you could do that. Now, if you're going to go through that much time and effort, however, every time there's an upgrade, the other thing is you can buy a piece of software that does a good image backup for you. Acronis makes amazing backup software. You can get it for as low as $30.
Could you either put something on Facebook with that? Because I'll probably forget what you told me.
Sure.
Or on your website or something. I'm willing to pay for it, but I just want the image of the hard drive because I got old software that has to have a run key.
Right.
And this one particular program, if I can't install it, it's going to cost me $75 to get a new one.
Right.
So
Well, I went ahead and posted that link on Facebook right now to acronis.com, Acronis, acronis.com. They make amazing backup software. So if you were going to buy backup, customers always ask me, what backup software should I use? And I tell them, all the backup software you really need is built right into Windows 10. It is free. You can do whatever you want to do with it. But if you absolutely have to have an image backup, you can do what this caller is suggesting and go through all this. You know, we all have time for that. But if you don't have the time for that, you can get a program called Acronis that does backups for you to your external hard drive. They are image backups, and then they work perfectly. They're great software. So thank you very much for the call, Ed. We appreciate it. 866-496-8772. Cheryl, you're next up. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Yes, if I were to buy one of your new external hard drives for a backup device, does that have to be hardwired to the computer, or can it connect wirelessly through our wireless network?
Great question. Yes, the wireless backups do exist. Western Digital makes a Western Digital MyCloud that just jumps on your wireless network. The problem with wireless backups is that they assume constant internet connectivity, and anyone who's ever streamed anything in their house over Netflix or on YouTube or Amazon Prime, you know that there are moments, brief moments, when you lose internet connectivity. And when that happens, your signal is interrupted. And if that happens during a backup, that can be very frustrating to have your backup interrupted all the time. We've experimented with some, it's kind of funny, the number of products that we play around with, that we experiment with, that just don't make the light of day. Then this was one of them, was the wireless, the 802.11n wireless backup hard drive. It was before the AC fast stuff. It was great. It worked fine. It even had its own internal battery so that if the power went out, your backup drive would keep going. So, I mean, overall, it was a really amazing piece of tech. The problem was it just wasn't reliable as a backup. Because we couldn't, if it lost its internet connection, it didn't have a screen or an interface or a way for you had to go hook it up with a wire and do all this stuff. And that was the whole point of it being wireless. So my experience with wireless backups is they are not consistently reliable. Our backups, to answer your question, ours are wired. They are USB 3.1. They're wired to the computer with the fastest connection possible to basically reduce your backup time, to make it as quick as possible.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the call, Cheryl. We appreciate it. 866-496-8772. Richard's next up on the show. How can I help you on Compute This, Richard?
Hi, Thor. I've been trying to follow your multiple instructions on backing up. And I thought I was backing up okay until I started. And I'm at my backup options now.
Okay. So you clicked on Start in the lower left-hand corner. Then you clicked on the Settings gear.
Yeah, I'm all the way up there now. My problem is I'm on backup options, and it says the total space on my backup plus drive F is disconnected.
Yep.
And my last backup was when Nixon was president.
There you go. So your backup drive is not connected to the computer right now.
Yeah, but I got a little black backup box sitting here blinking its eye like a toad in a hailstorm.
Do you have Drive Advisor? Because I bet you your backup drive is bad.
Really?
Yeah, they die just like any other hard drive.
Where do I find Drive Advisor?
All right, have you been into our service center before, Richard?
Oh yeah, I used to have Drive Advisor, and then I don't know where it is anymore.
Okay, well, if it's running right now, it'll be down in the lower right-hand corner of your screen by your clock down there. It'll be a green icon with the letter D in the middle.
Not there.
Okay, so go ahead and if you click Start in the lower left-hand corner, you don't have to close any windows. Just click Start and start typing the word Drive. And it should pop right up for you there. And then you can click on it.
Trying to find Start.
So it's the very lower left-hand corner. It's that little Microsoft logo.
Yeah.
Start it up.
I clicked it. Where do I find Start?
No, that is Start. Who's on first? No, that is Start. When you click that little Microsoft logo, after you click that, just start typing the word Drive. D.
Okay, I'm getting there.
Cool.
Okay, Drive Advisor.
All right, perfect. Now left click on Drive Advisor, and this is going to open up your Drive Advisor program. And you say yes or allow to that little security warning that popped up.
Okay, it's
now you should see that icon down there in the right-hand corner now by the clock. If you don't, it might be in the hidden icons down there in the lower right-hand corner. But when you find it down there, just go ahead and double-click on it, and it's going to open up the Drive Advisor window. And this is going to tell you the health status of all of your hard drives. Now, earlier in the show, I talked about how sometimes people aren't seeing the emails when their drives are going bad. When we get an alert on a Schrock customer, somebody who's been to our service center, if we get an alert that your C drive is going bad, we will call you. We will stop and call you because that's your main hard drive. But we get alerts all the time on external backup drives, like literally hundreds a day. And when we get these alerts, we don't call on them because they're external backup drives. And so basically check that, make sure that that's working good. But if it says there's no, go ahead.
It says drive C is 100% and drive D is 100%.
Okay. So then there's something along drive D, but you said you were trying to back up to drive F.
Well, I wasn't trying to. I just backed up and it said total space on drive F is disconnected.
Gotcha. So drive F is disconnected because it's on drive D.
Yeah. So how do I fix that?
So you can go up there and you can click on more options, I believe. And once you clicked on more options there, you can actually change the backup drive. Basically, you can select a different backup drive to use instead of the one you're using now. And when you select that other drive, you want to select the D drive. That's the one your backup is on, and your backup is 100%, so that's good. So, guys, thank you very much for the call, Richard. I appreciate the time here today. This is exactly how you can check the health status of your hard drives at home. For those of you who have not heard the program before or maybe don't know what Drive Advisor is a free program, and it's Drive Advisor, ERADVISER.com, because it's made in America. But driveadvisor.com, it's free. We make it at Schrock. And all it does is it monitors the health of your hard drives and sends you an alert if your drive is bad. Now, if you've never been into a Schrock service center before, we don't get an alert when your hard drive is bad. We only get alerts when our customers' hard drives are bad because, like a lot of these people, I got an alert yesterday that someone's C drive was failing in their 2017 Ultimate upgrade, but they had purchased an extended warranty. And so those are the fun calls to make because we can call you and say, oh my gosh, hey, your hard drive is starting to die. It went from 100% to 93% on a solid state hard drive. That's like epic mega death. So we need to get you in here right now to replace that hard drive. The good news is it's under warranty. So it's not going to cost you a dime. We're going to clone it. We're going to put the new drive in. And if you're not seeing symptoms now, you won't see symptoms after the clone. So get that in here, get it done. Don't run the computer in the meantime. A lot of people find out their hard drive is dying and they try to do a backup real quick. Don't do that because when your hard drive is failing, a backup is incredibly intensive on the hard drive. So what you want to do instead is if there's a couple important files you want to grab, that's okay. Don't try to grab all your documents and your emails and your pictures off the drive and hope it makes it through. That's not a situation you want to be in, especially when at the shop we're equipped for that kind of work. All right, thank you for the call again, 866-496-8772. Got to take our final break of the program. We are stacked up for calls, so when we come back, it's the rapid fire call segment. Debbie, Mike, Bruce, Dawn, hang tight. We'll get to your calls coming up next on Compute This.
If you can dream it, Schrock Interactive's website developers can make it happen. Refresh your website, automate sales and marketing, and grow your business today with Schrock Interactive. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all. So we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute this pro tip 843. Of all computer failures, the scariest and most expensive is the hard drive. But there are some steps you can take to save money and save your data before it's too late. Detecting failures early is important, so install a free utility like Drive Advisor from driveadvisor.com to monitor your hard drive's health and receive warnings when there's a problem. But most of all, hard drive failures happen slowly, so early detection is key to reducing the repair bill. Second, if your hard drive makes any unusual noises, immediately turn off your computer and do not turn it on again. These issues are physical problems, and the more you try to use it, the worse the damage becomes. Remember that most computer repair shops do not have the specialized equipment needed to recover data from a failed drive. Never open your drive or allow anyone else to do so. Open drives always cost more to recover. Schrock does not charge for data recovery evaluations and quotes, so let the local pros look at your drive before you make any recovery decisions. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Don't sabotage your backup drive, guys. Come on. All right, so Richard is doing everything right here. He's like, Thor, I saved my Quicken to my D drive. Yeah. And I'm like, no. Save everything to the C drive, right? Everything to the C drive, and then back up with the D drive. You back up the C drive to the D drive. You put all of your eggs in one beautiful, solid state, hopefully, basket, and then you back it up onto that external hard drive so you have a second copy of everything. If you save stuff directly to an external hard drive, you don't have a backup because the external drive doesn't back itself up. Well, you could, but that'd be silly, right? So here's the deal, guys. Should you put a solid state in your external backup? I had an email yesterday or actually it was a Facebook message from a customer who was asking, I'm looking at your website and I see I can get rotating drives or solid state drives in modular storage devices. Which should I get? Here's the thing. The number one reason why external hard drives fail, guys, is because they're external. They get kicked. They get bumped. The cat runs by or the dog goes by and the tail whips, and that golden tail. If you have a golden retriever, you know how that tail works. It's a destructo mace. It knocks the hard drive off the table. Baby comes tearing across the room, grabs the wire, keeps going. It never ends, the number of things that can go wrong with external hard drives. Literally all that has to happen is if you have a Western Digital My Book, those ones that look like a book, and it's standing upright on your desk, and you bump it and it falls over on its side, thunk, that's enough to kill it. If you have one of the little portable hard drives, kind of like the size of the ones that we have at Schrock, we put a lot of extra padding in those to make sure to try to absorb shock, because all you have to do is bang your fist on the desk, and that's enough to blow out your solid state hard drive. Your external hard drive. So the difference between the rotating external and the solid states have no vibrational issues whatsoever because there are no moving parts. You can pound away. If you have an anger problem, you should get a solid state hard drive. If you have pets or small children, you should have solid state hard drives in your external drives. If you are prone to accidentally knocking things off desks, if you're clumsy, you should have solid states in your external hard drives. They do cost a little bit more, but that cost has come down so much. To give you an idea, guys, for those of you who did the solid state upgrade, we're putting in the 120 size hard drive. A lot of you got the 120 upgrades. Let's just say for apples to apples, what you paid for that. You paid $150 for that drive. That's half off in the externals right now. So you're literally getting that same drive you just put into your computer for half the price. That's why this is such an amazing sale. So if you were going to do an external backup drive, I would recommend you go with the solid state options. They do cost a little bit more, but because everything is half off, you're going to pay about the same as you would pay for a normal external hard drive. And we're starting to see these popping up at Best Buy now. They're carrying external solid state hard drives at the big box stores because they're 6 times less likely to die. 6 times. So if you're really concerned about your data and you're concerned about keeping it safe, your external hard drive should be a solid state also. It makes your backups wicked fast too. 866-496-8772. Here we go. Rapid fire calls. Debbie, welcome to the show. How can I help you on Compute This?
Hi, Thor. Thank you for taking my call. I did not see an update notice on my phone, and so I didn't do anything. How do I do it now?
You hook it up to
make
iTunes. So you have to hook it up to your computer running iTunes.
Okay, so I run iTunes on. I don't do this often, so I
Okay.
don't know. I hook it up.
Yep. So
My own phone, I put it on iTunes. Huh?
do you have a desktop or a Mac, or you have a PC or a Mac?
I have a desktop,
Okay.
and it's a PC.
Perfect. So you install iTunes on there, and when you plug your phone in, it not only will it allow you to do the updates to your phone, it will allow you to back up your phone too, and use the same cable you use for charging it. But it'll allow you to back up all your content too, which is really important as we're talking about backups today. Thank you for the call, Debbie. I appreciate it. Make sure you get that iOS update done, especially if you have FaceTime enabled. Mike, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This?
Good morning, Thor.
Morning.
I have a older Seagate external hard drive, and I have actually backed up my computer. I believe it had Windows 7 on it, and there may be some other stuff that I put on this drive. Will I be able to hook this up and do the Windows 10 backup to this drive?
Oh, yeah. Any external drive will work as long as it's healthy and it's got enough room to back your stuff up. So, yeah, absolutely. You can hook any external hard drive or thumb drive or whatever you want to hook up to it. The important thing is you just have a second copy of your data. All right. Thanks for the call there, Mike. I appreciate it. Bruce, you're next up on the show.
Morning, Thor.
This.
I have your ultimate update a couple of years back, and the reverse, or not, the rear end audio does not work, or it's intermittent. I have to go to the front audio.
Gotcha.
Output.
I was joking with you earlier about your audio cutting in and out. It's hard to do that with your voice. All right. So, Bruce.
It was.
So, Bruce, are you local? Are you near a service center?
Well, I'm in Lincoln, so I'm in North Lincoln.
Okay, well, you're not in South Dakota or Des Moines or something. So North Lincoln, but you may as well be if you're in North Lincoln. So yeah, bring that into the service center, Bruce. Let us take a look at it, especially if it's under warranty. There would not be a cost for looking at it, but we'll take a look. It's probably a driver issue or a software issue that's causing that problem for you. All right, real quick, last call. Don, how can I help you today on Compute This?
Yeah, good morning, Thor. I bought one of your hard drive updates for my holiday special.
Okay.
And I'm not sure where I plug it in.
You can plug it into any USB port, any port. If you have a blue one or a red one, those will be faster, but they'll all work. All right, thanks for the call, Don. Appreciate it. Today's winner is Cheryl. Congratulations, Cheryl. You've got yourself a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. We'll see you guys again next week for another edition of Compute This, and stay tuned for the After Schrock.
Now, the news from the Miller Roofing Studios. We got you Weather Watch.